Hello and welcome to today's student CPD session. This is going to be looking at one method of enforcing knowledge or practicing recall and is an assessment value of the metacognition model. So we've spoken about the things that can be really useful in terms of your learning, and assessment falls under that. It's not just a test of your knowledge, it's a way for you to learn. And so this is a very short activity that you can create for yourself, and the chances are you probably already do some aspects of it. You just maybe need to reshape it or model it to make it really effective. To start off, you're going to need the things on screen. And they can be any version. So I've said pockets or envelopes because you could use an envelope, but you could use a poly pocket, you could use a box, you could use anything that you're essentially going to put your flashcards into. I'm sure electronically there would be another way for you to do this as well, but just worth bearing in mind. I've also said flashcards or pieces of card. Essentially, again, this could be anything you can write on. So it could be a piece of paper, it could be a post-it note even, anything that you're happy to use to write your questions on. To start off with, you need to then identify the different envelopes, and you need 3. One that's set, and this is going to be per subject most likely. So on one of the envelopes, write every day. On the second envelope, write Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, or any 3 spaced out days of your choice. So I went Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, but you could do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You could do Tuesday, Friday, Sunday. There just has to be a gap between them. And then on the last envelope, pick 1 day a week. So again, I would have picked Wednesday, middle of the week, hump day. But again, you could change that. You could make that Sunday, as long as it's every week. Do that now, shouldn't take you too long. Then this is where you probably are already using this method without really realising that it's a method. So your chances are you use quiz questions or flashcards. So the idea is on a piece of paper, you write the question, and then on the back you have the answers. So you ask yourself the question and then you check the answer. So again, this is something you will have done since primary school in terms of look, cover, write for your spellings, potentially the same for any mathematical equations you might be needing to stick in your head. The idea is that you're creating a visual memory that you're then able to recall. So then the process that you need, so again, you could spend some time doing this for any number of your subjects. And again, I would encourage you to have a different set of pockets or envelopes for each subject. So then you can sort of track your progress with that. Now, the way that it all comes together. So if you look, this is the guidance that I gave you before. One is every day, then the next one, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and the last one, Wednesday. The aim is that on the flashcards that you have, you start out with a pile and you use them every day. And as soon as you are able to give the correct answer on the back of the flashcard, you move it into the next box. You move it into the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday box, or envelope, or Polly Pocket, or whatever it is that you are using to store your flashcards in. So any flashcard in the everyday box, you complete every day. Fairly straightforward. Any flashcard that's in the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday box, you do on a Tuesday, Thursday or Saturday. And as soon as on those days you take out those cards and you look at them, if you're still able to give the full amount of information, what you then do is you move the card from the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday box into the weekly box. So in this case, Wednesday. And so then you only test yourself on that particular topic on a Wednesday or your weekly day, whichever day that you have chosen. Now that describes the way that you build up your knowledge, and it makes the assumption that things are going to stay that way. The aim is to eventually have nothing or very few in the everyday box, but of course you can add new content all of the time as you're learning it, as you're faced with it, new theorists, new concepts, new formula, new historical dates, language terms, anything can go in the everyday box. You can be building it all of the time, but the aim, of course, is to get it over here. Now, on the singular day that you're going to be testing yourself, if you don't, or if you are unable to reproduce all of the detail, you have to move it back. So if you had a task card and on it said, what is Mala for? and you knew that it was a figure of speech, you knew that it was an expression, but you didn't necessarily know fully that it was a combination of two expressions where someone has got mistaken in the way that they're delivering a metaphor, you have to move it to the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Equally, if you're doing the tests, you're doing the flashcards for yourself on a Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday, and again, you miss a piece of information, it's not as robust as you want it to be, you move it back into the everyday pile. So the way that these revision cards work is that you're chunking the information and assessing yourself as you go along. And you're making really clear distinctions about what you have been able to retain and where you need to revisit it more often. There's a quote that I like to use, and I'm not entirely sure where it's from, so I'm saying so with trepidation, but it's practice it until you can't get it wrong. And this builds on this idea. You're repeating the concept, the theory, the key aspects of learning so much that you can't forget it. And then in theory, you could even create for yourself an additional box that becomes not weekly, fortnightly or monthly to keep it up. So to see how secure that knowledge is. And again, you can have a look at that as you move forward. So that's going to be your task for today, is to create for yourself this system. So you potentially make your own envelopes at this session using pieces of paper. You could sit and write out some of the flashcards that you might want to use. You could test yourself to how much you could recall from something different periods of time ago. But use your time effectively to make this revision strategy work. Like I said, the chances are you already use flashcards in some way. This is just making that particular method of revision even more effective than you already have it.